Purpose.
Hello, welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to give you a platform to be able to share your ideas in as far as transforming Uganda is concerned. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. Welcome to the show. Today we're continuing with our conversation from where we stopped last week. We are talking moral degeneration, and where we had reached were on a conversation where at most times in institutions of learning or in life, it can be a workplace, you'll find people whom we can call mentors, and they will give you different options of life to choose from, and you can be able to choose your paths. Belinda was telling us about the paths that she was given, the different choices. Picking from where we are, Belinda, you are given different options.
So, with the three options I was given, which was you either sleep around with whoever, you either take alcohol, or you either get closer to God, perhaps it will be a way of sorting your mental health in the university. I started weighing the options. One, I couldn't risk sleeping around because I imagined, what if I want to be a leader and here I am standing there speaking and all these men are looking straight into my eyes and like, hey, we have seen you naked. So I weighed so much. I said, I think this won't work out for me. The drugs and the alcohol were still not working out because I have grown in an environment, in a society, in a school which condemned. We went for seminars and all that keeps in my head is, please do not be those girls they always preached about. Please do not be those girls everybody is using as an example. And I said, so that is different. So perhaps maybe I will have to stick to God, which looks a safer option. So what happens in most cases?
Which option did you choose?
I said I now went to God because it was a better option. So you get to, sometimes when I see these girls do these dubious acts, I get to look at what was offered to them.
Wow.
Because when you look at examination period, sometime back after my examinations, I made a tweet and said, I thank God I am done with examinations. These things sometimes drain you. And people were laughing, you just didn't prepare, you didn't what, but only a student in examination period can understand the stress. Someone tells you, I want to read, I can just like, no, let us get these cookies, let us get this. Wow. They always have them, even at the university, they have a plug, someone who sells them, so they use them to probably keep awake and read throughout. And so you get to see that our response to different challenges that are brought before us is different. Someone will spend the entire semester without caring about their books, but they want to save the semester in one day. So It goes back to preparedness. And so the only alternative is, if I did this, it will help me like this. But it doesn't stop there. It continues and becomes part of your life. You get married to it. And then finally, we fail to define ourselves. I always talk to my fellow girls and tell them, you are much more than what is just average. You're much more than that beauty, because you see them, the whole trend is, oh, do I look good? But there is much more tied to you than just that we see. There's a lot of potential that you're sleeping on.
Oh, yes.
So can you unveil it? Can you discover what you're capable of doing?
And that brings about the value that
exactly. So because the things that are brought to us, we see them in a myopic view. I'm just going to use this and get done. They don't look at the aftermath. What happens at the end of it all? What defines me? Then where do I want to go? And so at the last minute, they are caught in between. They are fixed between a wall and, barbed wires. And so it is, where do I go? And then they're running to rehab. Families are constrained. A lot has happened. They have lost their names. They no longer know where they want to be. So it is a lot, but it is good for us to understand, who are we? What do we want to become? This that we are facing currently, is it for a lifetime? Can we get out of it? How have other people managed to get out of it? How can we respond to these different mental health challenges?
And I think that information directly goes to the young people. For example, you're going to join institutions of learning. Mm-hmm. When you get there, you're going to find different options, like she said. You will find a group of young people who basically, for them to be able to live a life they want, it's about going to the bars in the nights. The rest, it will be that every Sunday, midweek, they go for service. And it's basically religion that is going to help them to be able to move throughout the university. There are very many choices. Others are going to take on drugs and of the sort. So that is up to you to choose which path is going to help you to go throughout your institution of learning and be able to achieve exactly the goals that you do have. Coming back to you, Piloya, I want us to talk about the issue of sexual immorality. Why is it now so easy that as young people, sex has become some sort of game that you're certain you will just play, go away with it, and find it as if nothing has happened. What is happening?
Well, thank you so much, Ivan. Now, what has happened is we no longer care. The young girls of this generation no longer care.
The boys too, I don't think.
And yeah, the men, actually the men no longer care because they're supposed to be our
can say the young
caretakers.
people no longer care.
Young people, but I mean, anyways, the young people no longer care. And even when you look at not only young people, by the way, even those who have made it no longer care. Why am I bringing this? Now, young people face this a lot, especially even, let me zero to the leadership. When a young girl wants to thrive, straight, let me say from maybe Bushenyi or Rukunjiri, this person wants to come for, or even Omoro. This person wants to come for a position, yeah? And then she's looking at my value. I want to be someone. I want to be like Belinda. I want to be like the vice president of this country. Where do I start from? But you know, my parents' background do not determine where I am going. So I'll begin looking for help because they say you can knock doors and you cannot fail to knock them. Who knows, the doors may open. So I come and knock your door, and because you're looking at me as a sex object, and you begin saying, before, what can you offer me? Like, you know, I am going to help you. I'm going to do this.
You see, you talk about that, and it's a very big issue that even the president has come out to actually, he doesn't know what to do. That majorly at local governments, these young people go into the public commissions to get jobs.
Yeah.
And they are forced into having sex by these bosses before they get these opportunities, and at most times they don't have anywhere they can report. But that's not only in the local governments, in the ministries and everywhere. I've had my friends personally come to me crying that, I went to this gentleman and he told me that if we cannot do it, then don't bother. Someone goes and does all the interviews, and later someone calls them behind the panel and tells them that, by the way, if you want to go through, you got to do something. And it's happening so much everywhere, in private companies, in government. It's worse.
Even in schools. You know, it so happened, actually, it dumbfounded me in 2021. I remember there was COVID period, and then I'm like, I can't just sit home, and I think I can contest. So I get to contest as I can rise up. I mean, I see myself there, and you know, this world has to be better. We are the young people anyways. So I get to pick up a ticket. It was an NRM ticket to contest as the Female Youth Councillor 5 of Omoro District. And you know, by and large, I started getting phone calls. Hello, how are you? You know, this. We want to support you here and there. And I'm like, you want to support me? So what do I do? Like, you see, we have to meet here. I'm like, you want to support me and you want to meet me where? What is that? I mean, I was faced by somebody who came and even told me, I will fight you. And I didn't know the whole genesis of the whole story until later on I get to trace it, the genesis, and I got to understand it was all because probably I didn't give in to somebody, you know. So this is not affecting one person, it's affecting very many young ladies out there. And even the men, by the way, they are faced by the same. You see, yesterday we had a discussion. We had some conference, and in that conference an issue of sexual harassment actually came up. Wow. And they were trying to the men were trying to say that it is a win-win situation, that when I come to you and because you have accepted, that means that I have not harassed you. But I'm like,
not
no,
looking at the vulnerability.
yes, not looking at that aspect, that because I am lacking and because I see myself somewhere and because I need to thrive, I will really give in, but my mind is telling me that this is not the right thing. But because I'm vulnerable, and because I can't speak out, because the society will condemn the act, and they'll look at me as the young girl. That's why we said the young ladies are affected most. The men, obviously, at some point they are ignored, but the young women, the society will condemn them mostly. So this is actually an issue. Now, secondly, let's look at the universities. You want to thrive.
Linda is shaking her head.
You want to thrive.
I understand it.
Wow.
You're doing the
Because I've seen
degree.
friends
Yes.
suffer.
Your parent wants to graduate. I mean, you're coming from Omoro all the way from Palea Town Council
You've had your 3-4 years,
for years,
and there is just a one retake.
and your parents are like, we have started organizing the ceremony. You have to graduate. You know, the whole village knows that you're graduating this year, and there is that one retake that is holding. It's about to hold you until the victory.
Actually, sometimes it's not a retake; it's missing marks,
Oh yeah.
or someone makes you fail intentionally.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I got a call. You know, you have just finished exams, so I got a call from one of the colleagues is at main campus, and he was telling me, you know, Barbara, I am faced with this challenge. That you see, what if at this point a retake comes by? You know, we are finishing, and a lecturer calls you and tells you, I know your registration number. You know, there are those common students.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I know your registration number. You are close to a retake. In fact, you have 48,
Only 2 marks.
but I can make you excel. So can we do something? And I told him, no, I can't. I told him, yeah, can we handle? Me, I told him, me, I can't, because I know.
Actually, they no longer go around these
Oh yes,
days.
it's direct.
They are that open that they will tell you, this is what I want. We
More
have it, or we
degradation.
Or you get your retake.
Yeah.
So this guy told me that, you see, you've had like 4 years. So are you going to hold on to that? I told him my future is not locked onto a lecturer's door. So because my future is not locked and the God Almighty has the future fixed, even if 10 years I'll spend in law school, but also I have other things that I'll be doing, because then my future is bright. Now, what am I telling the young people out there? We are facing this as young ladies. We are facing this as the males. A couple of years, actually last year, I saw one of our WhatsApp kind of screenshot that was sent to one of the ladies who posted on our status. And this was a lady who had thrived, someone someone you would really honor and respect. And I was trying to say that, you know, we need to get these boys out there, I mean, for a weekend. And there is this one who is too good here and there, and they were talking about the, you know, and this young man, because he's at campus, he wants to thrive, to be there in the future somewhere, but he's lacking, he'll just fall into the trap. And you know, the question was, the other lady asked that, but you are infected. What you infect the lady, the other gentleman with AIDS? And then she laughs about it, and she's like, he'll take ARVs. So do you see the world we are now living in? It is really totally decayed, that we have to hold ourselves at some point accountable, yes, but also we have to look into values. What do you stand for? Even at the point of death, what do you stand for?
Thank you so much, Piloya. We go in for a break, but our take home as we go in for a break is that as a young person, you need to have that value, a value that you attach a principle and the responsibility. The three will be able to help you to move right on track. But also, I want you to understand that from what she was talking about, it's not just that someone is going to, you know, have you just for a moment and you have that job. It's totally wrong. You will have it, and then what these guys do is he's going to tell his fellows that, by the way, for that one, just get her in the corner,
So
and
it's
you'll be able to give in.
cycle.
That's it. The other one will also connect you to the other one, and before you know it, the whole workplace or the whole school actually will have used you.
You're embarrassed.
And when that happens is when you lose your value. The moment you lose your value because of what has been happening to you, then you will not be doing anything attached to a principle of responsibility. And to the worst, when you find that these people fall sick, then they bring all the anger they have. For example, that lady, you don't know why she was saying that the boy will take ARVs when she infects him. Maybe she was also infected, and that anger is what she wants to put out there. So the issue of moral degeneration is that wide. And when we come back from the break, we are going to be looking at those basic causes and what we can be able to do to avoid them. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Youth of Purpose. My name is Ivan Tumukunde, and on set I still have Piloya, I have Belinda, and I have Asimwe. We are talking the issue of moral degeneration amongst the young people, and we are seeing how we can be able to work it out to make sure that we get medicine for this. I was talking to young people mostly about the issue of drugs, and a number of them were telling me that actually nothing can be done to the level of which they see the issue of drugs. They think totally nothing can be done, and we should just leave it out there, which I don't believe is right. We cannot just give up on our generation like that. Still talking about the issue of sexual immorality, Belinda, you are always shaking your head, and tell us
Yes,
what is
yes.
happening, and what are some of those stories that you've had in as far as the issue of sex is concerned.
Well, about the issue of sexual immorality, I've been in spaces with so many girls and I've listened to them pour out their hearts, and it is hurting and painful to every girl because an open secret is that at every level, at every age, at a certain point as a girl child, you either face it or a person you know faces it. And for example, there's a time recently we had, we're talking about academic freedom and freedom of expression in universities with the American Bar Association. And I happened to be on the panelists representing the students of Gulu University. And so one of the news reporters makes a comment and says how he got a call from this girl. This girl was being sexually harassed by this guy. And I think, yeah, something in that line. And so this girl goes to this guy because he's a news anchor and says, so what do I do? So what this guy does is he confronts this lecturer and tells him, you either give this girl the right marks or else I'm going to embarrass you. So this guy's like, no, can we negotiate things between me? And he's like, I have all your voice notes. I have everything that you've been sending to her with me here, enough evidence. If I tell the story on this, you're gone. And so this guy continues and what, and then finally says, okay, I'll deal with it. However, it ended there. And this is where all my fellow students came out and saying, you're a dangerous man, a threat to this generation, and a dream killer. Wow. Because this man has left unchanged and bothered. He has been left to continue doing what he has been doing, probably now in a smarter way. Because, okay, I sent voice notes, I sent pictures, they will capture me here, but perhaps I changed tactics. And so the thing is not so. We have students, you've seen people go to apply for jobs, but they reach there and this is what you have to do. So there's this one time I happened to attend a Women in Leadership space organized by UN Women. And these women were talking about this challenge. It's like, you young girls that are coming up in these leadership spaces, these men are going to tell you, perhaps, I can help you here. I can take you through this whole thing. I can help you gain status and come and join parliament. However, you need to sleep with me. And it's like, that is a major thing of pull her down. You'll never speak on the floor of parliament. Like, you're seeing so many women there quiet.
Wow. You don't know why.
How do you come up to speak on something? Everyone is looking at you and you're telling us how they have names. They tell you, did you pass by a Chisoro? No. I think pass by a Muwende. That one it's a slippery slope. Very easy. And so you get to realize that you feel, I don't know how to really bring it out, but your worth is taken. You're robbed of everything. And so you cannot come up and even speak in society. So it goes that deep. Even the men are suffering these things in institutions. Yeah. A lecturer is fighting you because he wants your girlfriend. This is your girlfriend. You probably met at a bar, almost came into fights with this boy, and there you are, not going to graduate.
Coming to you, Asimwe, how does the people that we do relate with, or say the community where we come from, but also the things, for example, that we see on a daily basis, talk about the media, how does that affect our morals?
Thank you, Comrade Ivan. Just for the past recent, you are aware that globally we experienced the COVID-19. And that's when we had each of the young people and the elders turn back to their communities to stay much more together close. But you are also aware that you no longer have sex education like it used to be in the past. And because of that, it's actually on record that in 2021, I think around the October there was a plenary at Parliament whereby the chairperson of the Parliamentary Forum on Ethical Affairs, who is my honorable MP, Dr. Savabuturu, who is the honorable, made a motion on the ethical values within our community, and that in case it was not going to be dealt with people that do it, it was going to reduce on the socio-economic performance. So because of that, the people we relate with, they no longer care whether our elders or even the young ones. So that means that the idea of mentorship has not lived according to because the issue of mentorship has died and is not functional, people are not guided. And you know, ideally, people used to gather under the tree for community meetings, elders talk to the young ones, whereby women should sit down, then men should sit on the benches and whatnot. So today we are seeking for one-on-one mentorship. Perhaps because through one-on-one, like I get Belinda, I get a colleague, I get, you know, so that can work out to relate with people entirely. And at So Away, we believe in harnessing the wind beneath the wind, or harnessing the wind beneath your wings. That would mean that you cannot actually shoot and aim higher minus interrelating with people who have already made it. That means we need to seek first to understand, but also to seek to ensure that we are close to people that have made it life. That's why you see even when there was a conference in institutions of higher learning in Chambogo, Makerere, Burulira, where there should be an assurance that they bring somebody who has made it. For example, you have seen people on panels, they bring like maybe a person who has made it according to the young people, maybe the former two presidents, maybe like you see they bring like Honorable Nobati Mao, because they think they have made it through their student kind of days. So they have been able to ensure that they transit information and disseminate to the young people who need it. Now your question was, how should the media come in play? You will realize that had it not been the role of the press and media, I and you couldn't know that there was actually the black Negroes in America who were fighting for the rights of them. You are aware that in 1950s, a black man, Martin Luther King, championed to fight for the freedom of the black Americans in America, drawing the lessons from how Mahatma Gandhi had done it in India, non-violent, the Gandhism method. So you realize that that has been because of the role of the press. Now, I also want to say that today people consume what they see, I think 80% because of the role of media, either on social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, even radio stations, you know, from radios and TVs. So the role of media, I would want to appreciate UBC, because this has been part of the platform whereby the young people meet and share their thoughts on how they see the next generation coming up. So I think UBC has championed a platform and a generation whereby these young people should be able to understand and share, disseminate information. Right now, I want to believe that the person who is in Omoro, who is in Ikaraki, who is in Chisoro, where he come from, they should be able to watch us and say, oh, kumbe, this and this is wrong, and I think we should do the right thing in this kind of way. Now, what was the third thing?
Basically, that's it. And I appreciate when you talk about the transformation that we do bring about as media. And I can tell you that the transformation we're doing as a show is not only here in Uganda. I get feedback from all over. I get people calling me from Tanzania, from Zimbabwe, asking me when the show is going to run. And therefore, I do believe that we are indeed transforming this nation. Basically, coming to you, Belinda and Piloya, as we give our concluding remarks. Basically, as young people, we are going to dress what we watch on TV. We are going to talk like the people we watch on TV. The behaviors, so much of what we do is going to be determined by what we see. And media is there to set agendas. So if the media does not play its role, that means we are going to be responsible for what happens. And if you look at the content that, for example, young people consume, it's a very, very, very big issue. And leave out only, broadcast media or print media, but look at social media. The content that young people consume, we like to be of class, we want to do Netflix, but you will find that you will do content on Netflix, they'll bring you a series, you do the first episode, second episode is okay, third episode is okay. By the time you get to the fourth episode, they bring people that are lesbians or gay.
True.
And you're already addicted to this content, you already have characters that you're following up. So you'll find yourself watching this content that might influence how you're going to behave. What can we do to make sure that the media does content that is going not to affect us? But at the same time, how can we make sure that we don't consume that content that will affect our morals?
Well, it is a bit difficult for us to say, let us start with these people that create the content and what. But can we as ourselves have a defense mechanism? In I think it was 2019, I was at Girls in my senior six, and we had a patriotism. It was Patriotism Week, and these people came to talk to us. One of the guys who talked about media mentioned something which I have never forgotten. He told us that everything you're seeing on TV is because they want you to perceive it in that way.
Oh, yeah.
If I want people to get used to, let's say, moving naked, then I'm going to put in a lot of money to make sure that we are broadcasting a lot of naked people, so that in your eyes and in your mind,
inspiration.
exactly, it looks normal. They're just developing and creating perspective. That is why even when I watch a movie and you're watching a movie and you see them bringing in a lesbian couple, I'm like, so they're bringing in this to show to the viewers it is normal. People are doing it. They're just breaking the barrier. So it goes to yourself. Do not take everything you see on social media as the truth and for granted. Because I see people who have watched probably, I've forgotten the name of the series, but they take everything as, oh, this person here was dressing like this and talking like this and behaving in such a way, they're queer, they're what, and it's fashionable, so I want to be like so and so. No, someone is just implementing or putting a certain picture and thinking into you.
Getting and then a level of acceptance.
Exactly. So it gets back to we as the youth. One, what defines you? What do you want to be? Set your own agenda. Someone else has an agenda that they are projecting for you to understand. So set your own agenda and know it. And then lastly, when it goes to the sexual immorality bit of it, can we be persistent? I do not think that if I come to your office today and you asked for probably connecting, you asked for sex for the job, and I refused and still continuously applied somehow, because sometimes we got to learn that some of these people just do it to test you. Will you accept? When you give in, a win is a win. He takes it. When you refuse, sometimes he's not the only one on the panel. Sometimes you've actually already gone through, but they use it as a channel. So can we be woke? Can we be alert? Can we know as young people what should define us? What do we want? And just know that some of these things, or most of these things we watch, there are people trying to brainwash you. It is not reality. Stick to your African values. Stick to those things that you were taught and nurtured from the word God. These new things we are coming, don't know where you have come from, and perhaps do not care about where you're going. But your culture and society that has groomed you knows the best for you.
Thank you so much, Belinda. Indeed, our African way has great value. In 30 seconds, what are your last remarks, Pilar?
Well, to the young people out there, let's not forget that we are the young people and we are Africans, meaning we are the future of this country and we all the values of Africa so dear. I have 3 things to say. Number 1, mentorship. If you are out there and you have made it, try and mentor the other person to also behave and carry the African value. Number 2, mindset. You are what you make of yourself. Try and thrive to the values that you carry and the goals that you've set before you. And number 3 is membership. We are all members of the African society, and so we need to strive hard to carry this value to the next generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We keep speaking values and values and values. Definitely, the moment you value yourself, you have the principles that you're going to be following. And all that is going to determine the kind of person that you are. When you become the best person, then you can be able to mentor the others. You cannot give what you don't have. And therefore build in yourself what you think can transform this world. And then we can be able to spread it to the rest of Africa and make sure that we are the generation that is going to make Africa great. Again, as we understand that Africa was once a continent that all the other continents looked at. And therefore, let's take that responsibility to be the generation that is going to bring the greatness back. I thank you so much for watching this show. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. See you next time.
Youth of Purpose.